Could you get me the actual carbon footprint of each and every vehicle and how that's calculated? Now, this was in the news, yes, this week, March 15th of 2019. Yeah. It looks like Governor Jay Inslee's running for president. Oh, President Inslee, 68 years old, promised to make defeating climate change our nation's number one priority. Yeah. You would think as a governor of the state of Washington right now. Now, the state's getting sued for violating the necessary requirements to issue a permanent child support order. Yes, because the Treasury Department can't collect on that order. Yes, and as I was reading here, yes, heavy hitters, however else they would not be joining the race. Mayor Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, is worth $50 billion. Yes. Now, what's very interesting in the statement that he made here says, I am clear eyed about the difficulty of winning the Democratic nomination in such a crowded field. Oh. You know, 50 billion dollars, Michael Bloomberg. Why don't you tell me if your clear eyes have any radio signals in them so that you could see if you were the bee on me? Now, there are some little muscles in the back of the eye right now. You know, I'm going to want to know what Michael Bloomberg knows about radio signals. That would be the long range radio signals, not just of Israel. When you have a $50 billion fortune, and I said I was going to bankrupt you, you know, Governor Jay Inslee is going to prison for allowing for this state to refuse to enforce the requirements of the laws. Now, as a presidential candidate, he could try to cover this up. Yes, he could. But as I just explained to the county, yes, when you take my sons, right, without any actual due process, yes, without any jurisdiction of law, right, and you issue a permanent order for governor, you're going to prison. Now, I've informed this county, yes, there was no jurisdiction in 2011 to issue a protection order, yes. And when they issued it, right, they arrested me at the same time as serving me the dissolution of marriage 4 days after my wife filed for dissolution of marriage. Yeah. I went through a court hearing. I was found not guilty and my record was expunged. Yes. And then there was no actual notice or opportunity to be heard. Yes. And I'm being obstructed from suing this state and all the employees of this state. Governor, you're not going to win the presidential campaign. You're going to prison. Now, these candidates for office, yes, I want you to understand something. This state refuses to enforce its laws. Now, why don't you get me all the radio stations in Washington State, as well as all the ham radio operator licenses? Yes. And then all the broadcasts of all radio stations online? Yes. And then why don't you get me all the radio telescopes? Yes. And then the Gwen Tower system right now. Now, somebody is sewing into the eyes. Oh. Now, my sons are in the wrong grades. Yes. You wanted to put me in a mental institution under forced medication. Yes. Because you arrested me for the false allegations of crime. Yes. Because this county and this state is attempting to cover up their crime. Yes. And when I inform the state legislature, Pope, and I inform every sheriff right now, every fucking one of them is playing some sort of game that you can actually violate the laws of the United States without being prosecuted. Governor, Why don't you get me both your ears, both your eyes, yes, and both your nostrils? Poop! Because it could be, okay, that whomever you're listening to